Hello, my name is Denis Zubov and I'm working as a developer at FastReport. In this video I want to talk about FastReport in multi-thread application. So what's so special about multi-threading? I don't want to go deep into explanation of multi-thread advantages. There are a lot of materials and articles about it, but it's worth to mention that these days we have a hardware which already can execute code parallel and runs it faster. Imagine that in the same amount of time your application built 4 reports instead of 1. And what if you are developing a serial application which should work on a cluster? These days we are calling them clouds. In this case, the more your application can process separately, the better performance you will get. Let's have a look more closer. That's how typical single-thread application looks. We see reports model here because I'm still talking about FastReport, but of course it can be anything, any data process method. So what we can see here? Our application runs in the main single thread, and when user interacts with user interface, our data processing module receives some messages, retrieve ASCII data from the database. As we are running in a single thread, we need to synchronize user interface by using process messages here, pass the data to the report engine and build the report. And in the end, it will show the data to the user. Well, when we show only one report per time, this single-thread application should fit our needs. But even here we can split a DB connection and data processing to the different threads. But if we need to build several reports and show them in a multi-window application, in this case user will wait every previous report to build completely. That's where multi-thread application should improve the work. The idea is to split data processing and report building to the separate thread. That allows us to build several reports separately. That sounds good, but you can ask, can FastReport work with different threads? What to do with global variables and other things that FastReport use for single-thread architecture? Of course it can, but we need to do some preparation and let FastReport knows that it works inside thread. For this, FastReport has a set of properties. Let's have a look more closer at these properties. First of all, we have to disable user interface elements and set FastReport show progress property to false. After FastReport should know that it's working inside thread. For this we can set FastReport engine options enable thread safe to true. This method disables any process messages synchronization and set report component to works in a thread. When FastReport engine option silent mode property set to true, report engine will not throw any exceptions during report execution. If during report execution there are some changes in objects, for example, like we can see here, changes in object position inside the report script, that you need to remember that during next operation, if the property FastReport engine option destroying form set to false, report template will already be modified and it will need to be reloaded or to use FastReport engine option destroy forms set to true. But during renew you can't use interactive reports from the threads because scripts objects are deleted after renew. That's why in some cases it's efficient to use FastReport engine options destroying forms set to false and renew the report template on your own during the next building cycle. Also, there is one important thing to understand. FastReport uses global list for registration of FastReport DB dataset component. You can ask here global list why. Let's imagine a situation when we have several data modules with FastReport DB dataset components, and on the main form we have a FastReport component, and FastReport component should see all of these datasets. To make this possible, we are using global list of datasets. It works good with a RAID Studio component model in a single sort, but not with multi-sort application. For example, we want to create 2 thirds. In each third we create a report from code, and for every FastReport DB dataset component instance we are using the same name of FastReport DB dataset component. What will happen here? When application run 2 or more thirds, every third will use registered FastReport DB dataset component from the global list. It will be a first component with the same name, because engine links datasets by name, and all others sorts will get data from it. So we can have incorrect results in all other thirds. To avoid that, we have to set FastReport engine options, use global dataset list to false, and disable global list. But in this case we have to pass datasets manually to report engine. To do that we have to use FastReport enable datasets add method and pass FastReport DB dataset to the report before loading report template. Now we know most of the properties to make FastReport work in a multi-third application, and we can take a look at multi-third example which I prepared for this presentation and see all methods I described. To build this example I used FastReport, which comes with RAID Studio, so if you want to run this example you don't need to download or buy anything. You can use a standard FastReport which comes with RAID Studio IDE. Let's check the code. First of all, I want to show you my third class. Here we have a report, dataset list, FRX dataset list, file name of the report, export filters list, and some other properties which I described before during this presentation. So what most important of this class? Of course it's a report file name, because we need to receive a file name which we want to load in the report component. Report properties, connection string to database. I want to create a data connection inside the third, and a list of with names of tables I want to use inside this third. All initialization we do in the init procedure of the third. We need core initialize because I'm using ADO tables. I need to initialize COM ActiveX model. Then we create a report, set show progress to false to disable user interface, set silent mode to true. We don't want to see an exception messages. File and picture cache I will describe a bit later. Pass destroy forms variable and set enable third safe property. Also we disable our global dataset list and use add FRX datasets which create IDO tables and TFXDB dataset components and add it to our list in a third. Later in load procedure we clear our datasets and pass available datasets to enable dataset list and load our report, just like I described before. Now we can see at our execute method of our third. All it's do is initialize our report and other components, call synchronize method with form interface, load report and prepare report, and then if we set a count of preparation more than 1, we build this report several times, maybe export it, and after that do synchronization after finalization of our work in a third. And that's all. We can see also export report procedure. We has several parameters like export our report to FP3 standard FastReport preview format, to PDF, RTF, TXT, CSV, JPG, HTML, and at the finalization we destroy our components. That's basically all we need to do. In init, as you can see, we also make initialization of export filters. We should create our all components inside the third. Now we're ready to see how this demo works. We need to select report we want to print and dataset to use. Let's check simple report and let's have a look what will happen if I don't pass a dataset to our report. As you can see, we have an error message that dataset doesn't exist. So now we need to pass a used dataset, and let's have a look how it works. So we can see our search running. Now we can build a few reports. Split bands use a BioLive dataset, so we need to select it too and start few more reports. As you can see, our thirds works fine. Also we can try to export two different formats. Let's have a look at our output so we can see our exported reports. Now let's talk a bit about big reports, about caching of reports. Imagine a situation when you have a really big report with a lot of pages, a lot of data, and you're still running on Win32 system, so you're limited of system memory which your application can access. So let's run this simple demo. This is a pretty simple example of list report which just repeats many times and generate a lot of report pages. I forgot to select customer dataset, so now we need to wait till our thirds it's all memory. We can see that our application eats a lot of memory, so let's wait a bit till we get out of memory. message. So here we go. We got a out of memory message because we reached 2 GB of memory for 32-bit application. So what we can do to avoid this message? For this, FastReport has a use file cache property. Let me show you where this property locates. It's FastReport engine options use file cache. This property tells FastReport that we need to use file cache instead of memory cache. Now let's run our report. I also want to export to PDF. Now we can see that it's almost doesn't eat memory, but of course it has less performance. Now we will wait till our application done and have a look at exported PDF files. The job is done, and now we can check on output results. We have a PDF file with a lot of pages. So it's a pretty big report. Another option is to use a picture cache. Picture cache can be used when your report has a lot of images, objects. I have a report which generate a random image and print it. Let's run this report with use file cache. If you remember, use file cache can be used only to cache objects, not pictures. Let's have a look what results we will get. As we can see, our application starts consume a lot of memory, and we already has out of memory in 1/3. If we make a few more thirds, we can get it a lot faster. As you can see, almost every third has out of memory. So to avoid out of memory error with reports which has a lot of images inside, we can use a picture cache. Let's run this test application. If you go into temp folder, we will see that FastReport creates temp files for picture caches, and we can actually open our exported reports now, as we don't have out of memory error. As you can see, it's random images, lots of images. So basically, FastReport allows us to build a very complicated multi-thread application. It can be a server application, it can be some kind of scheduler. If you remember, I mentioned a multi-window application when we can build different reports in different threads and update it in the report preview. Let's try to do so. I need to increase repeat count. I want every third update every report and show our preview window. Now we can run our application and have a look what we see. As we can see, every third updates every report 100 times, and that's why we see switching between tabs. Of course, you can set a lower update time, but I only wanted to show you the idea that it's actually works, that you actually can build one preview and build reports in different threads and output them to the preview window. What else can we build with using a multi-thread architecture? Of course, it's a server application. Here I have another example for you. It's not a FastReport enterprise component. It uses a standard FastReport component, and I built a simple server application using a Indie HTTP server component. So what exactly this application does? We have a few folders. One folder contains a database, another using for HTML docs. It contains HTML documents which FastReport use as template to output report list. We have a variable here which we replace inside our application. We have another folder with reports and folder for sessions. The application is pretty simple. It fills a report list from report folder, connect to the dataset, and main work we do on command jet event of HTTP server event. In this event we prepare an HTML answer for HTTP request. Now we can run this simple application. Run our server. I'm opening a web browser and try to connect to localhost. So here we go. We see our reports list. We can open a customer reports, memos and picture reports, or for example a simple test report with a barcode. So basically, let's have a look what this application does. As I said, it's generate a answer on command jet event. We load a HTML template from HTML docs folder, search for server variable and replace it with generated reports list. Later we pass parameters. If we has built parameters with a report name, we create a report instance, create a database, set connection to the database, link it to TFRXDB dataset component, load our report, prepare it and export it to HTML to the session folder and pass it as a request to client. So as you can see, it's a very simple basic application, but we can already use it. Connect to this from our web browser, build a new report. We can make a new report, for example, or change existed report. For example, I want to change memos and pictures. Let's make another font for this memo and set a different color. I want to save it as a new report. Let it be memos and pictures too. Now I run my application. I don't do anything else to make it works in the application code, and connect to my server. We can see new report here, and we can see this exactly what I did with my report. So this is how you can actually build a very basic client server application without using FastReport Enterprise version. You can build a server application with a standard FastReport version, which comes with a RAID Studio IDE, and that's how you can use a multi-thread architecture. So that's basically all you need to know to build a multi-thread application, to know how to use FastReport in a multi-thread application, to how to build a simple server application. Thank you for watching our presentation. I hope you found it interesting for you. I want to thank our partner Embarcadero for great webinar sessions. If you have any questions, you can ask them during question part of webinar. I will be here to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Denis, for that presentation on FastReports. Unmute Denis.
Hello.
Hello. So there are a few questions here about if the demo that you showed, the FastReport thread demo, if it works with the Embarcadero version of FastReports.
Yeah, I have created both demos using Embarcadero version of FastReport, so you can download the demos from our website and run it without problems.
Excellent. Well, now, what are some of the differences between the FastReport version and the Embarcadero, the FastReport version we ship, and the different versions that FastReports offers?
Embarcadero version doesn't have script code inside the report and dialog forms. So, and some export filters.
Okay. So Michael's asking if you could put your email address here in the chat log or in the question window for him. He would appreciate that.
It's Dan at fast-report.com.
Excellent. Thank you. Ronald says he's using the datasets integrated in the report.
Yeah, it's even better when you use integrated dataset, because you don't need to create it separately from the third.
Excellent. Using cache, you don't know in advance when you are running a big report. So is there a way the report will automatically use cache?
Yeah, there is another option in the engine properties. It's max mem size. If you need to put limits for your report in memory, you can set its default size. I don't remember, about 20 megabytes. So you can increase it if you want for bigger reports to put in the memory. And if your report reaches the memory limit, it will be saved to the file cache.
Okay, so when the report hits the memory limit, then it gets saved to the cache automatically.
Yes, it's we'll put a TFRX report engine options max mem size.
Great. Well, if there's any more questions for Denis on FastReports, go ahead and put them in the question panel and go to Webinar Software, and we'll get them answered for you here. We had a session yesterday with Kerry Jensen on FastReport, so it was another big hit.
I see. I want to add that we have during this week for CodeRage, we also always offer a discount special for CodeRage events, so you can use a link from us and buy a FastReport products with a 20% discount during this week.
What's the link for that?
Let me. Where can I put it?
Oh, here.
Can I put it in the?
Put it in the chat window.
Oh. Okay. I put the link in the chat.
Excellent. I'll put it up here on the screen for everybody as well. So it's fast-report.com/en/promo/CodeRage. Excellent. That's great. It's for all of your products. Look at that. All the FastReport products. Very cool. So Roland's asking, for the integrated reports, is there anything extra about multi-threading?
No, it's as I said, it's even easier to do because you do not need to handle datasets. So, no, that's all. Basically, all you need to know. So you can use it like I described.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Dennis, for this great session on FastReports, and thanks for all that you do to make FastReport. Oh, here's another question. If I use FastReports inside DataSnap server, the configuration for FastReports component will be the same as your demo?
Yeah, it will be the same.
The HTML example, is the HTML sample you showed downloadable on your site? And are
the both examples in the link I gave before.
Okay, the CodeRage demos link. Can you paste that link in there in the chat window again, or are people asking for it?
Okay.
What is FM3? Website product description multi-platform report generator for Apple OS X and Microsoft Windows compatible with. So he wants to know more about your FM3, your multi-platform FastReports engine, it sounds like?
It's only for OS X and Windows platform. It doesn't support currently mobile devices. So it's almost the same like a VCL version, but for FMX platform.
Okay. Is that this one here, FastReports FMX2, or is that a different?
Yeah, FastReport FMX2.
Okay. He's saying FM3, so I'm not sure if that's different or.
I don't know anything about FM3. We have only FastReport FMX2. Yeah, we do plan to support mobile platforms in future versions.
It's like actually generating a report on Android or iOS?
Yeah, and preview it. The first step, it will be without a report designer, just generation and preview.
That's pretty cool. TMS and others have collections of several products. Do FastReports have collections of all components? So, for example, can you get a bundle with everything in it?
For now, we don't have any bundles. But if I remember, we Embarcadero with RAID Studio 10, you can buy a bundle of FastReport, which contains FastReport VCL and FastScoop VCL. And also another bundle is FastReport FMX and fast CubeFMX. Well, external dataset supports any database which inherited from T dataset, so you can actually use any dataset with FastReport.
Okay, so if they're pulling the data from MongoDB, as long as it's in a data set, you don't care.
Yeah.
Excellent. So apparently, Michael pointed out that on your FastReport FMX2 site, it refers to it as FM3 here.
Oh, I think it is a mistake on our website.
Okay, so that's FastReport FMX2. All right.
Yeah.
So he's saying the prices are in. How do you is it just by selecting a different site up here? Does that change the currency up here? They want it in. No, it says US. Yeah, he's saying he's seeing it in RUB prices on the website. How can he change that?
Maybe it's links to the language. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Try a different language link, I guess. Does FastReport produce sharp output for images?
Not sure that I'm correctly understand the question.
High quality pictures.
Yeah, you can set a different quality when export to images. So you can basically select resolution you need.
So Roland's also asking if you have a time frame on the FastReports for mobile, Android and iOS.
But we still doesn't support mobile devices, but we haven't planned. I think it would be something in the next year, maybe in the end of the next year.
Okay. Okay, well, I think we had a big rush of questions again, but I think now we've got them all answered. So thanks again for your presentation here, and thanks to everyone for showing up and asking questions. This is great.
Thank you.